You are watching Leicester Till I Die TV.
Watch us on YouTube.
Listen on your favourite podcast platform.
Or ask your smart speaker
To play the podcast Leicester Till I Die.
Hello, good evening. How the devil are we all? Got the pants ready? We were going to have a packed show tonight. Unfortunately, it isn't as packed as it was because some Bournemouth wanker of a fan has let us down. He's probably off walking his dog, trying to chase Harry up. That's all he seems to do. So, cheers, Craig. You've dropped us right in it, mate. But here we go. Let's hope that the team isn't as shit as he is when it comes to helping us out at the weekend. Slightly busy weekend to go to as well. But look, this is LTID TV from Leicester Till I Die. Live on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube. Thank you for joining us and watching. Please join in the chat and feel free to comment. Keep it respectful, though. And for those of you listening on the podcast, thank you very much for lending me your ears, whether that is the YouTube podcast or whether it is Spotify, Google, Apple, Podcast Addict, blah, 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 and all of those. We thank you for lending us your ears. And if you've got smart speakers, A, you're rich, but B, just ask it to play the podcast Leicester Till I Die. And don't forget that you can follow us on all of our socials. You know you want to. And we're everywhere. As you can see there we go. LTID TV, Leicester Till I Die TV. Search either or, and you will find us. So let's bring my. I was going to bring my Bournemouth guest in, but like I say, because he's off shagging sheep somewhere, I'd even got music lined up for him as well. And it's no good coming in now, Craig. It's much too late. Sorry, mate. We're going ahead without you. So here we go. Let me bring my first guest in from Leicester. Brad, how are you feeling, mate?
It would help if I pressed the right button, wouldn't it? Hello,
Yes,
how are you, sir?
It's going to be one of those shows.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to doing this show. It's going to be interesting to get other people's opinion because still seems a lot of bit of pessimism around, isn't it? Despite the brilliance of the result we got against Newcastle, because let's face it, apart from a certain wise old sage in Craig, nobody else really saw Monday night's result coming.
No, not at all. If I'd have had a bet on it. Talking about the wise old sage, let's bring in the Craig that doesn't let us down and say good evening to our Craig. How are you, sir? Welcome back. How was Madrid? And he's gone on mute as well.
No, I'm not. I'm just messing with you, Chris.
Okay, then. See ya. Anyway, let me bring him back in and let me uncover him, and then we can see him. There he is in his full beauty.
No, I'm good. Madrid was great. Managed to get to a game to see Atletico against Osasuna, which was a 3-0 win. So that was good. Great atmosphere, great stadium. And now it's back to the reality of nail-biting football.
It is indeed. Have you watched the highlights from the other night?
I did. I watched through them. There was a bit near the end where we got in their half, so I enjoyed that.
Yeah, it did get rather exciting at that point, didn't it?
I imagine, if Castagna had just caught it off his ankle, a la Steve Claridge, or off his shin, it may have looped in. And then where would we be? We'd all be getting very, very excited.
We would. We'd been a lot better. But let's be honest with you, it's a point more than we thought we were going to get. And it's, well, as you've been saying all season, it could be the point that keeps us up.
Yeah, I was talking about it. I was talking to someone the other day about, I remember the number of times that I've been on the show and you saying, would you take a point? Would you take a point? And I kept saying, yes, I would, because it's about just keeping the scoreboard ticking over. And if we'd have added just a few more 1 points, we wouldn't be sitting in this mess.
Yes, exactly. Well, let's just go through a few comments. Taylor is in. Yo, just got back from football training. Keep your boots on, mate. Get yourself down the KP for Sunday. Big Cox is in. Richard, how the devil are you, sir? Welcome along. Hopefully, we're going to be seeing, not seeing, well, yeah, you know what I mean, seeing Little Cox, Mini Me will be joining us. I did say come in after the Bournemouth fan, but of course, the Bournemouth fan hasn't come in, so the West Ham fan isn't late. He's just organised and coming in when I asked him to do so. But welcome, Richard. Hope you're well. Congratulations on the conference final, by the way. Hope you do very well in that. In fact, I tell you what, concentrate on that. Premier League, you've got it, mate. You're there next season. Don't worry about it. Just go and concentrate on the Europa Conference final. Sharky as well. It hasn't come out, but he sent me a face greening, smiling emoji. Nate, evening, Chris. Everybody saying hello to everybody else. Another 10 minutes, you would have won. I don't think we would, to be honest with you. My man of the match, the woodwork. No, you don't. Look, Mini Me's here. Do I know? I should have sent you the link. I think I've sent you the link, but the way this day's going, who knows? Who knows? Right. Brad, is your camera working there?
Yeah, it is. I was just doing some moving some stuff.
No, we don't want to know. We don't want to know. We don't want to know.
Oh, right. It's not past 9 o'clock. I can't tell you. Sorry.
If anybody is bored, by the way, this weekend and thinking like, well, what can I do? Is there a book I can read or a film I can go and see? Then I would just say, get yourself out. It's at the cinema now. It's The World's End. It stars Dean Smith, Sean Dyche, and Sam Allardyce. For two of them, it is going to be probably The World's End, the equivalent. How are you feeling, Brad?
I'm feeling relaxed because thanks to the atrocious performance before the Newcastle game, I say atrocious, it was that alarming one that was really atrocious one. I'd almost accepted it. You know, I was happy that I'd seen a bit of fight, but it tailed off when we didn't beat Leeds and then that humiliating thumping at Fulham. I just kind of went, oh well, at least I've seen some fight. I've seen a manager that's got an ability to change it up. We can do that in the Championship. And then they go and draw with Newcastle. And now it's just like, nice. It's nice because 2 games before this, I don't think there was many Leicester fans around the globe that were thinking we weren't down, you know, that weren't already mindset set on the Championship. So the fact that we're actually in a relegation fight, I know that sounds like a weird sentence to say, but the fact that we're actually in it and it's not all done and dusted, we haven't got an R next to our name like Southampton, is it's a little bit positive. So I'll enjoy it, whatever happens, in a weird sense of the way I think. I don't know why, but I will.
Great Escape 2, Craig? Possibility or dream?
Well, there is a possibility, but it's a bit of a pipe dream, I guess. But I'm not sure which way it's going to go, but I've got a feeling that we're going to have some kind of time added on injury time drama. You know, unfortunately, it seems like every team who else is down there, particularly Everton, seem to manage to get about 10 minutes time added on every game. So and then nick a goal. But I think it's going to go. People say it goes right to the wire, meaning the last game. I think it's going to go right to the wire into the last sort of 10 minutes or so, and something's going to happen. In fact, if that's the case, it means we're still in it. Everton haven't gone and scored 3 in the first 10 minutes, and and we're just sitting there waiting for the whistle to go.
Well, first of all, sorry. When we played, what day did we play? Monday night. You were still in Madrid, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. When you obviously looked at your phone and you saw it was 0-0, were you sort of thinking like, OMG, or were you thinking, great, or what were your thoughts when you first saw that result?
It's funny because I got back and landed not far from kickoff time, and I was debating whether to listen to it on the radio on the motorway back up. And for the first time I can remember, I didn't listen to it. I thought I just can't. I'm going to get too annoyed, upset, alright. I can't see what's happening. I'm just going on what they're saying on the radio. So I gave it a miss and was quite pleasantly surprised when I saw that it was a 0-0. Not only have we got a point, we'd actually got a clean sheet because I'd forgotten what they were like.
I know. Interesting facts coming up later on, which I know you will be interested in. Are you going to the game on Sunday?
Yes, I am.
Well, we're going to lose then, Brad. We're going to lose.
Well, okay, you couldn't just nip back to Madrid for a game, could you, for a Sunday?
Hey, I was there against Wolves. Let's put it that way.
All right, we'll let you off then. Look,
50-50 then. It's a 50-50.
Yeah. There's a guy going to be gloating when he comes on in a second because he's had a really good season. I can remember if we roll back the clock maybe 3 months, it was always out and always taking us down and always all. And who has been in the Championship more recently, Brad? You'll know this. West Ham or Leicester?
It was us, I believe, wasn't it?
No, I think it was West Ham.
Was it? I don't know.
Remind me, Craig. You know these things. You're a wise old owl.
I think it was. I can't remember as well. No, we did play them, didn't we? Because the start of the Great Escape.
We will be coming on to that later. We will be coming on that later. Let's give him his moment because let's be honest with you, we can't keep him waiting any longer because he's young and his bedtime's coming up. But we've got to. We'll bring him in and go. Oh my God, what's happened there to the plan? There we go. Welcome along, and well done on the Europa Conference final.
Thank you very much. I tried to find an Everton shirt, but I couldn't find one. So yeah,
if you had an Everton shirt, I would be really, really worried that you're wasting your money.
No, I definitely don't.
Look, I want to get the elephant out of the room first of all. With you, Jake. Like I say, well done for on Europe, and good luck. I hope you go on to win it. But I've got to say, I want to talk to you about the elephant in the room. First of all, David Moyes. First of all, with David Moyes, and those of us that know Charlie, the Manchester City fan, I've got to say, were they? I mean, is David Moyes Charlie's real dad? Because to me, that is very, very scary. That's up there with Prince Harry and what's he called? So I do worry. But look, talk to me about David Moyes, Jake. I could joke in there. Not so long ago, you wanted him out, and now you're safe in the Premier League. You're in the European Cup final. He's the best manager in the world, isn't he?
It's been a funny season. It's been a funny season. We've gone through many ups and downs. We knew this season was going to be different to the last two because we knew that we bought in 9 players last summer. There was this huge rebuild that we sort of developed, and at the beginning it didn't work, and that was and that was quite obvious. And our sort of we sort of just loitered around the bottom half, and then we sort of got into the new calendar year, and people started to wake up a bit and go, we're in a bit of trouble here, and we've managed to claw ourselves out of it, thankfully, with a couple of good results that has put us well clear of it now. Obviously, mathematically, a couple of weeks ago, we secured safety, but it's been a funny season where if we win the Conference League, we won't sack him because we haven't won a European trophy for 47 years, and there's no way we're going to sack a manager after winning one of them. But
I don't know. Is it? We've done it. Not European, obviously, but
it's been strange because of because it's taken time for players to bed in. If I just take Lucas Paqueta as an example, he looked absolutely awful for his first few months at West Ham. Last 2 months, he's been absolutely brilliant. He's given many fans the sort of Payet moment that we had, and I think the season you won the league. And it's things are starting to come together. And I mean, it was this time last week I was very nervous, sat there as we were holding on to a lead, and now we look on and we're in a European final. And if we look back at it now, and if we do win this on a week on Wednesday, we'll go, it's an average season for West Ham in terms of league position and a European trophy. So it's been a season with plenty of ups and downs for sure, but I mean, if we win it on the 7th of June, then I don't think anybody can grumble too much, because the football has been awful this season, but if we get a trophy to stand for it, then I don't think anyone will grumble. And then we go back into the Europa League as well. So
yeah, of course, yeah. You mentioned it earlier, Craig. Last time we were in these deep doo-doos and we performed The Great Escape, it all started at West Ham.
They did. I remember it well.
I didn't get started at the KP, so we were playing West Ham.
Yeah, no, I remember the game well. It was another sort of nervous performance, but it was a bit of a scruffy goal, if I remember rightly, that Andy King got. But from then, we kicked on. Now we don't need to kick on. We just need to get the result, however it comes, and then hope that down on the south coast, which is basically, Chris, it's down to you, that the south coast take care of the other game.
I have threatened that if they don't do a job for us, I am going down to the ground, which is about a 10-minute drive away, and putting a brick through most of their windows. And believe you me, if you know Bournemouth as well as I do, they are easy to smash. Were you born then, Jake, back in 2015?
I was 8 years old, so if that makes you feel old, then I was 8 years old.
Whether you were sort of still in nappies or not. You probably were, knowing you.
Trying to find some straws that you're clutching onto here with this, Chris. Where are you exactly going with your 2015, start?
I didn't deny that point though, did I? You know what I mean? When you put that up, when you replied on Twitter, I accepted it. That I'll grasp for anything in this situation, as well. I mean, Brad, what are your memories of that?
My memories are that I can't fucking keep this mute button up to keep doing it just in case the echo returns. Just keep muting this.
Shows as good as possible. You guests just cock it all up.
I know. My memories of that game, I was actually working for the club at the time, so I probably got some of the best views for the goals. And I actually remember this game because I think we were 1-0 up, and then David Nugent missed a penalty, which would have put us 2-0 up before West Ham had the chance to hit back. And given how our season was going in and how we were fighting, that when they scored, it kind of deflated us for about 10-15 minutes, and we struggled to contain West Ham. And in fact, West Ham nearly took the lead in that game in that spell for 10-15 minutes. But then I think the way previous games had gone, the way we were showing the fight and effort, the crowd found their voice again after a half-time whistle, and it was one-way traffic. And the goal that Andy King scored was a traditional Andy King goal. He was at the back post, and he did something similar in the following home game against Swansea. I think it was practically the same result. So, yeah, it was a good game. It was a it's a game that you could kind of use as a bit of motivation. Not that it should need any, but motivation to never give up on Sunday.
You won't know this guy, Jake, but Craig. Well, you know Craig, obviously, but Cambiasso. I mean, can you believe we saw him? I mean, all I'll say is he was the Messi of his day, probably, wasn't he? Can you believe that we saw him in a Leicester shirt one season only? But it was unbelievable, wasn't it?
I mean, you talk about people having cameo appearances, and he had a cameo season, and his vision on the pitch was just ridiculous. Some of the first time passes that he was hitting, but coming up with important goals as well. He was just a class act, and I know there's reports that it was a little bit difficult behind the scenes, but then you're a player of that level that you are you expect the highest standards, and that's what he'd been used to. So it was great to be able to see him in a Leicester shirt for that one season.
It was, and he congratulated us obviously the next season when something I have to explain this to West Ham fans, won't I? When we won the Premier League.
You win the Chris, don't worry, you win the EFL next year, it'll be all right.
Oh, we've done that. We've won the second tier title more times, or joint more times with Man City than any other team.
This is all part of a cunning plan to win the title in all four divisions.
Yeah. No, this is part of the cunning plan to shove it back down Noel Gallagher's throat that we've won one more League Tier 2 title than him. And don't read anything into the fact that it means we've been relegated more often than any other team as well. Jake, okay, again, we said we've got the Moyes element. I heard rumours, it might have been actually on your channel probably, that it's already been agreed that Moyes could be leaving at the end of the season.
It depends where you read, to be honest with you. I don't think there's anything, crystal clear. I would be incredibly shocked if we win and they do let him go. I just cannot see that happening in any universe. If we lose the final a couple of weeks' time, then there may be a few more question marks there. But I think many fans sort of, after last Thursday, it was a magical night. There was 1,000 in that stadium in Alkmaar. There was a good few thousand who were out to Amsterdam without a ticket as well. And I think most West Ham fans sort of stepped back and went, that's a sort of amazing moment. And the videos we've seen after as well, it's just sort of boosted the happiness in the fan base and everybody getting their, trip to Prague booked up as well. And it's just been more positive. So with the Moyes thing, I think it's slightly dependent on the outcome of the final, but I don't think they'll let him go. I think he'll stay.
Looking at your form there going into it, obviously it's better than ours, but I mean you lost by the odd goal to Palace, you lost to Manchester City, and let's face it, everybody loses to Manchester City. We just lose games. Arsenal lose the title to Man City, of course. Oh, did I say that out loud? You beat Man United. Then you lost to Brentford. You managed to beat Leeds, and thank you very much for that one. That was a bit of a favour for us. Bit patchy form. Are you concentrating, I guess, now more on Europe? And is that going to be at the back of your mind come the weekend?
Yeah. So just with them games there, that Brentford game we just chucked out our massively second string side because that was sandwiched in between our two semi-final legs, and we've picked up vital wins when we've needed to. In the back end of this season, we've beaten the sides around us in order to get ourselves out of it. At home, we've beaten Everton, we've beaten Leeds, we've beaten Nottingham Forest. We didn't beat you, Chris, before you mentioned it. Yes, I know. But and that win against Man United just all but secured our Premier League safety. So yeah, I would say we're not going to be putting in the tackles perhaps as much as if we didn't have a final in a couple of weeks' time. Nobody wants to get injured, that's obvious. We don't want to be losing a player like Paqueta, Rice or Zuma, a pivotal player, in a what's to us a pretty irrelevant game ahead of a European final. So you can expect a bit of standing off. That's what I'm certainly going to expect, but that is sort of reflected in our form because we have, stepped off the gas.
Okay, so on Sunday then, you've nothing to play for. In fact, the only team that's playing a team that's got anything to play for is Leeds, because Spurs are still fighting, obviously, for some sort of qualification for Europe. So, what team does Moyes put out?
I don't know, to be honest, because there's sort of two ways to look at this. Is that we've got quite a gap between this game and the final, but then again,
10 days, isn't it? Yeah.
10 days, but we wouldn't want a really crucial player to pull his hamstring and he's out for a month and he can't play in the final. I really don't know what Moyes is going to do, because in that Brentford game, he went all out and rested pretty much everybody. In that Leeds game, he sort of went 75% first team, 25%, mixed things up a bit. So he put out a much stronger side after he realised how crap we were against Brentford. So I don't really know. I would sort of expect the same sort of side we put out against Leeds, maybe a couple more changes. I can see it being sort of like 50-50, because, I mean, we don't really want to come and we don't really want to come and, get battered by 3. Yeah. I don't think we will. But Moyes will have the gratitude there, I think, to put out a decent side. Declan Rice will play. It's his final game for the football club in the Premier League, I think. Key players will play, but maybe a few. I mean, Jared Bowen's missus had babies a couple of days ago, so will he be there? I'm sure he will. He's played every game pretty much this season, but there will be a few odd changes. It won't be our strongest side, but it won't be our weakest either. It'll be something.
I hope Bowen's not there, because he's had a hand in 5 goals in 5 league games against Leicester, 3 goals and 2 assists. His most goals involvement against a single top flight opponent. Brad, I mean, we're not going to look at. We know what Leicester's form's like. Shit, basically. But we've got West Ham. Everton have got the Cherries. Leeds have got Spurs. Have we got? Cherries have got nothing to play for. West Ham nothing to play for, but they've got to think of the final. I say 10 days later. Yes, it is 10 days, but a hamstring or an ACL and you're out. And Spurs still struggling, fighting for Europe in some form. Would you say, and no disrespect to West Ham, do we have the easiest game?
Obviously, you look at it on paper and you'd say that Leeds have the easiest game, because Spurs are just... You had it right. Spurs are just struggling. There was no struggling to fight for it. You should have just cut the sentence off there. Spurs are the shittest side out there at the moment on form. But I say that a bit tongue-in-cheek, obviously. Toughest one.
Very sticky ground here, mate.
I know. I just like to dig at Spurs, because I might as well laugh, because I might not get many more chances to laugh this season about Premier League teams. So why not? But yeah, you look at it on the context of it is, like Jake said, okay, we're not expecting your under 12s, but if you fancy putting out your under 12s, we have a chance of winning the game. But you look at that and you go, okay, perspective-wise, West Ham have that European game. And you don't... I cannot imagine a world where David Moyes is that naive to think, I'm going to play Declan Rice. He might put him on. Say, if like the game's dead and buried and he's not asking him to run around and do much. But he might put someone like Declan Rice and players of that calibre on in the latter stages of the game, but I can't imagine he's going to ask them to start and risk them being touched and getting a groin strain or an injury that can take 7 or 8 days to recover from, because it's just going to ruin all the hard work they've done this season, especially in Europe. You look at Bournemouth, and with the greatest respect to them, I mean this with a grateful respect, they don't really have a on the beach side for a club that lives so close to the seaside, in terms of their quality and depth of players. So Gary O'Neill's already come out and made that statement, which is, usually a cursor. So let's hope that's not the case this time, but he's going to go full strength. Tottenham are just shit, so it doesn't matter who they play. Leeds have always got a chance to win, but we know our situation, and for Leicester fans, we don't... The greatest respect, I don't really give a toss what Leeds do at the weekend, because it will count for naught if we do our job, won't it? You know what I mean? So in terms of our survival, I think we've actually, because of the European final that West Ham are in, we have to think we're going to have the slightly easier team to play against in terms of quality on the pitch.
Yeah, we'll be looking at the team that you chose earlier, Brad, later. But Craig, is it better for us that we've got to win? A draw won't be any good, so we can't sit back and even on 89 minutes if it's 0-0, we've still got to go and try and get that win.
I think so, because Everton have got that in the back of their mind that a point may be enough for them. I think it's better going into a game knowing that you've just got to win it. There is what we can't do though is go gung ho, and go a goal behind or let in a couple of goals. I don't doubt the fact that we would have it within us to come back, but you just pile the pressure on then. So I would have thought we'd be fairly conservative early on. What I would be doing would be getting a few tackles in earlier. So if he is playing the likes of Rice and your top players, that they know very early on that they're in a game, and they may take a step back and may not put themselves into challenges. If they can do, and we're just watching them, then they'll play their own game. But I think if we got in early, get a couple of tackles in, it may just say, hang on a minute, I don't want to be involved in this, and take it a little bit easier. That may be old school, but that's what I would be doing. I'd be stamping some kind of physical authority on the game.
If we do that, we'll get a red card. But if Newcastle do it,
I'm not saying be stupid about it.
But Newcastle do it against us. Obviously, try and break Samari's kneecaps, and you stay on the pitch. Not that I'm bitter or anything like that. But look, I'm sorry. I'm trying not to call you the what was it? Not the equalizer. The Velvetizer. Velvetizer. Loves his hot chocolates. It's a pretty tight record between us. This is just Premier League. We've won 10. You've won 14. But we've won 5 at home, 5 away. It could be a draw, and you'd be happy enough with a draw, I suppose, wouldn't you?
I'd take a draw, yeah. I think this game doesn't have too much relevance to us, but just to come off the last point about players there, I'd be incredibly surprised if Rice doesn't play. Rice wants to play every football match. He's had one injury in the last 2 years, which put him out for one game. I would be incredibly surprised if Rice isn't, starting this game. Because he has started every single game, and he is a player that wants to start every single game, and he knows as well as us that this is going to be probably his last Premier League game for the club, and I can't help but feeling he will want to play, and he's not sort of stepped back in any of the other ones, and I can't see him doing it with that. And in terms of records in this game, I think it goes out the window. I wouldn't want to be in your position now, constantly looking to see whether Bournemouth or Everton have taken the lead. To sort of change and sort of adapt what you're going to do. It's a perilous and difficult position to be in, and I'm sure it will be nervy in there. But I sort of agree. The fact is, if you go in and if you go at us early, we may well take a step back, which wouldn't surprise me at all. So that's probably the way to go about it early on if you want to get at us.
Brad, would you feel bad if Samari went in heavy on a tackle to go, "Oi, I'm here"? We don't have many players that can do that, but does that, and then he damages Rice's ligaments or something, and he's out of the final? Would you feel bad or not?
No, because with the greatest respect, look, I'm sure I know West Ham fans. I'm sure Jake would be absolutely mortified, and I like Craig said, I don't want him going in, thinking, like for like with what happened to me, I can do it to someone else and get it sent off. But say it was a tackle and he fell and twisted his knee, I'd want him to recover and get well soon, like I do. I don't want to see anyone's career come to an end. But I wouldn't care. I mean, if it means he's got to go off, then with the greatest respect, that's a very talented young midfielder that's one less to worry about. That would then turn around and go, told you, David. Told you, Moisey. You shouldn't have played him as much as he wanted to. You should have kept him fit for the final. Because, I would say I understand what Jake's coming from, and I'm sure Rice is keen to play the game. But if I'm David Moyes, I'm thinking whether I decide to stay or not, or whether they decide to keep me or not, I would rather keep Rice fit and have him play in the final and strengthen our chances to win a European Cup than risk him getting a tackle with no malice. I'm not saying it's going to be like a red card challenge or anything like that, but he twists his knee or something and he can't play the game and we ultimately lose the final. So I'm not asked. If they get injured, it's unfortunate, but it's not my problem. I don't support West Ham.
Yeah, I think if this.
The same.
I was going to say, I think if this was the last game of the season, then I could say, yeah, he'll play and he'll want to play and he'll want to go out on a high. But it's not. Not only is it not the last game is your biggest game for years and years and years. And I think that will be the overriding factor, regardless of whether he wants to play. Imagine if Moyes plays him and he gets injured. Moyes is going to come in for such stick for doing that, for not being strong enough to say, no, we need to keep you for the final. You know them better than us, but I would imagine that's where a manager's going to earn his corn and protect your players the best that you can and get them ready for a massive game, not a game that essentially means absolutely nothing to you.
The issue with Moyes is that his stubbornness will probably come through, and he doesn't like rotating in a Premier League game. It's not like him. He's massively gone out of his comfort zone in the last couple of games to mix things up slightly. He likes to play the same team every week, and there will be changes. There's no doubt about it, but I can see it being a similar side to what we played against Leeds last weekend. I can't see too many more changes because Moyes will want to build the confidence up, build the sort of momentum. And if Rice does get injured, then he will get pelters. But I think that's just what Moyes is going to do, and that's my gut. And I can't see him changing much more. He might come off with 15 minutes, 20 minutes to go if the game's buried and done, but Moyes wants to go out there and he wants to finish on a high in the Premier League as well. That's just the way he is.
And I can hear Moyes' rationale already that he wants to protect the integrity of the league and the competition and put out his best team to give everybody a fair chance. So I can see that. I can understand it. I'm just thinking, if I'm a West Ham fan, would I want him to be?
Oh,
I mean, stubborn manager. What's a stubborn manager? We don't know those, do we? At all. Bell end. Sticking with you on that, Craig. Who would have thought? Well, we know that Brendan didn't have any balls, but Smith dropped Maddison playing against Newcastle. Right decision.
Well, as I said to you, I think in a couple of messages, that was the formation that I said that we should have been playing against Liverpool. That you've got to be pragmatic about it. You've got to stop the opposition, understand their strengths, and just try and grind out points. And that's what we should have been doing. Not stubbornly sticking to, let's play three up front. It's absolutely ridiculous. I don't understand. And to be honest, the fact that he did it against Newcastle makes it even worse that he didn't do it before then. Because 2 other points, a point against Fulham and a point against Liverpool, we'd be going into the last game knowing a win would keep us up. So, and it kind of turned me against Smith. And regardless of what division in now, I'm thinking that we just need a fresh start and something different. It's just frustrating that he decided to do it. It's great that we got the point, but it makes it all the more galling that he didn't do it beforehand.
I'm not laughing at you, Craig, but I'm just laughing about a fresh start. And I think Brad knows where I'm going with this. Jordan Blackwell.
And that won't be Potter.
No. But Jordan Blackwell, who is Jake, the chief football writer for our local rag, today answered the question about who should be in next season. And he says that if we drop down, we should get... I'm laughing at Brad's face. He said we should get somebody that is experienced to getting clubs out of that division. I can't say it in straight face. Somebody like Scott Parker. There.
Get the cardigan out.
Yes, the cardigan. You could just put a shop dummy, put a cardigan on it and stick it at the side. Brad, tell me that you saw that. Well, I tweeted it, didn't I? I mean, it felt like somebody was walking over my grave.
I don't really like to attack so-called Leicester fans for having an opinion, but Jordan Blackwell proved in that tweet that he knows fucking all about football and is an absolute fucking clown. And I'm just going to say there before I go on a tangent, Chris, because Scott Parker, you said you'd rather have Penelope's from Thunderbirds' Butler in charge. I know who you meant when you put it out. I'd rather have Peter Parker, and he's a fictional fucking character. That guy hasn't got a brain cell. There was more brain cells found on a strand of hair on his 90 grand cardigan than there ever is in his brain. So, no, and Jordan Blackwell, go and support a different club. We don't need your clown brains. In fact, go and be a good Arsenal fan. You've become best mates with Ty from AFTV because he's a big clown as well, who's deluded. And I've seen how you rate players, mate. You know nothing about football. If that's your opinion of who should come and manage us if we go in the Championship, Gordon Bennett, get Mike Bassett in. I'd rather him, and he ain't a real manager. I don't know if Jordan Blackwell knows that. He might come out next week and say he's the top man for the job and not realise he's fictional. Oh, God. I'm muting myself now so I can stop.
Can I just say, for legal purposes, that the views of guests on this show are not necessarily those of LTID TV. Thank you very much. No, I physically felt sick when I read that. Jake, if I said to you now, look, you're going to lose it on Saturday, but
Sunday.
you're going to win the Europa Conference Cup, you'd take it, wouldn't you?
Oh, 100%, yeah. I want us to end the Premier League on a high, going up there. Hopefully it's going to be a good day. And, of course, I want my football team to win. I'm not going to go to a game, no disrespect, and I hope we lose so they stay up. I hope we win the football match. But, if you give me now, we lose 1 or 2-0 and we win the Conference League, of course, I'm gonna snap your hand off for it right now. Of course, the perfect scenario is we win both games, but I mean, it doesn't really matter too much to us. The biggest incentive of this game is, hopefully, I think Man United are beating Chelsea. If Chelsea lose tonight and then they lose on Sunday, with the right goal difference, we can finish above Chelsea, and I would absolutely love that. But
thing is, of course,
formalities, of course,
is that this year you've really had a bit of difficulty beating us, haven't you?
Yeah, well done.
I mean, we are embarrassed by the fact that we lost twice to Southampton, who were the worst team in the league. Would that not be embarrassing if you lost twice to Leicester? And I mean, it is very possible.
Well, possibly. I mean, that was quite a dark day through this season. If I was to pick out probably 3 days when I walked out of the stadium and went, flipping hell, was probably that day, Wolves away, when we lost. That was dreadful. And when we got battered 4-0 by Brighton, that's probably 3 games this season where I've walked out of that stadium going, Jesus Christ. And yeah, this was one of them.
3 games, mate. 3 games. You haven't lived. You want to support Leicester. 3 games.
No. We've had some. No, that's just the worst. There's been some bad ones, but they've just been the absolute worst this season. And yeah, that was in sort of a dark moment through this season where we were at a crossroads, and we lost to Palace that week, and we lost to Blackburn in the Carabao Cup within 3 days after this as well. It was a bit of a nightmare. Then we went into the World Cup, and most of us wanted Moyes sacked, and nothing happened. And now thankfully we come out of it the other side, and whatever happens with Moyes, at that time you caught us on a vulnerable day, and Harvey Barnes absolutely teared us a new one.
Brad, interesting if you look at that, who the man of the match was on the Premier League with 52% of the votes.
Yeah, not bad for the world's shittest ever Premier League goalkeeper to ever grace the pitch. I mean, it's not like he didn't make compilation videos of saves of the week, and it's not like he was ever man of the match more than once for this club. It feels like an age ago, doesn't it, since we started and entrusted our goalkeeping responsibilities to Danny Ward. People forget there's 10 other players that didn't help him to stop shipping goals at times. But yeah, it's amazing to think that in the same season that how we've managed to change so much since that result. It's Ward getting a man of the match, Leicester keeping a clean sheet. God, it took us 22 games before the Newcastle game to register one before that. So, yeah,
Yes,
it's weird looking at that. Very strange.
it did. It was a long time. Two players, though, Craig, that rumours have it. In fact, I believe I read today West Ham are interested in Harvey Barnes.
Really?
Yeah. Excellent. Great news. Yeah. Please, that
And you don't like
that's
Barnes. I was giving you the chance to say good riddance there.
yeah. Barnes is just frustrating, but I think that comes with virtually every winger. I'm not sure there's any winger that does the business week in, week out. I'm sure that you've been frustrated with Ben Rama down the 18 months that he's been with you. He's been decent in recent weeks, but Harvey Barnes is just so frustrating. If anybody doesn't watch him week in, week out, they just look at the stats. They think, what a great player, but it doesn't tell the story.
Do you any part of you, Jake, that you look at that and think, or look at this and think, yeah, we could be in trouble here, or are you going into this game thinking it's Leicester? Because let's be honest with you, we won't put the fear of God into many teams this season.
I don't know what side and approach Moyes is going to go into it, to be honest. So I'm not quite sure what outlook we're going to have going into it. I'm sure we'll get a better sort of view of it when he does his presser tomorrow. But I'm not going up there fearing, oh Christ, if we put out our second team, we could get about a 3 or 4-0. If I'm honest, you could quite easily roll us over and beat us if we put out a far more weaker side. And to be fair, you could beat us if we started our first team, because we might not really bother too much anyway, whatever side we put out. I'm not worried of a battering, but you could quite easily beat us, I think, in the sort of mindset that we could be in.
I mean,
Jake, sorry, Chris. Jake, have Everton fans got any preference for who stays up?
Everton? You mean West Ham, Craig?
Yeah, West Ham. Sorry, West Ham fans. Yeah, that would be funny, wouldn't it? Yeah, Everton fans don't care. No, yeah, West Ham fans. Whether they've got any preference, whether you get to a position where you look next season and think, okay, we need the supposedly better teams to be relegated, so it makes it easier next year. Which is still the way older Leicester fans look at it. You go into every season thinking, who are the 3 worst teams?
Yeah, I think it's more personal preference, to be honest with you. I haven't seen many West Ham fans go into it, I really want Leicester to get relegated. Yeah. I haven't seen one say that. I've seen a few want Everton to go, to be honest with you, and I don't blame them.
There's been one in the chat telling Sharky, I think, wants Everton
yeah,
to
probably.
go.
Yeah. If I were to pick a team, it'll probably go Everton, Leeds, and Leicester. That's not just because I'm on a Leicester channel. I don't really like Everton or Leeds, to be honest with you. We've had a pretty rubbish day up at Everton this season, and Leeds is just a long way, isn't it? So it is what it is. I prefer Leicester to stay up. Yeah.
I like that Terry Newsham. I do. I've always said that. Lovely man. Man. I mean,
I don't think anyone wants Allardyce to stay up, because we've never hear about it.
The funny thing is, I put this out on Twitter a couple of days ago, and I did actually try, and I said, can I ask my non-LCFC fans following who they would prefer to see get relegated? Sorry?
You found 112?
Yes, I did. And none of them were West Ham.
No, I voted. Don't you worry, I voted.
You voted. Who did you vote for? Just out of interest. Well, 72% voted for Everton, which I think, I understand that. But look, people still love us, guys. Look at that. We came bottom in that poll. People still love us. Jake, I'm just going back onto that. It was actually, I mean, UK, you could say it was in the Sun, this Barnes to West Ham, but it was also in the Guardian, also in the Daily Mail. So you're covering all sorts of political spectrums there.
So basically, what's happened is one of them has gone, I know, let's link him to him, and then their mate from the other one's gone, oh, I know, we'll have a bit of that, and then the other one's gone, oh yeah, we'll have a bit of that too.
Yeah. As reported in the Sun.
Yeah.
I mean, is Barnes a sort of player that you would be interested in?
When I've watched him, and I think what Craig has said is probably right, and it's right with many players. We get fans come up to us and go, "Oh, that Ben Rama, he's brilliant," and to be honest, at times, yes, and for the majority of his time, he hasn't been great. But I'm hoping now he can kick on. From what I've seen of him, I've always gone, yeah, he's a decent player, and it's interesting when you hear fans, talk about one of their players who watches them week in, week out. I don't watch Leicester week in, week out. From what I've seen, he's always been pretty decent. Would he add something to us that I don't think we already have for 50 million that I think was reported? Probably not. With the players we've got there, we've got an abundance of attacking players there. Bowen, Paqueta, Ben Rama, Cornet. There's plenty there to choose from. So at the moment, I wouldn't be putting that at the top of the priority list, if I'm honest with you. And for 50 million, I don't see what he adds to us to what we probably haven't already got, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. A lot of people in the chat they've been very nice, saying they don't want Leicester to go down. The checks are all in the post to you.
How much is my check?
You're too young. I can't be seen to be giving an underage child money.
That's right. Send it to Dad. He's my agent. I'll have it. I'll find it. Don't worry.
Oh, I forgot you. Yeah, but he takes 50%, mate. Do you not
know?
I want
to
bet. But he does give you hot chocolate, so you'll be all right. Who should we fear on the West Ham side, Jake?
I think, I sound like a bit of a broken record. It depends on who Moyes plays, to be honest. If Paqueta plays, I'd certainly watch out for him, because he's really started in the last couple of months to adapt to the Premier League on a better on a better scale. He's been much more effective. So if Paqueta plays, I'd look out for him. Of course.
You're all fighting over your money here.
Yeah, they're all fine. Well, the issue is, I'll see Terry at 7:00 on Sunday morning, as we'll sort of head up to Leicester. And he said he wants Leicester to stay up, which is fair enough. But I do want you to stay up. But at the same time, I just haven't got it in me to want West Ham to lose, to be honest with you. So,
and I would
sort of at a crossroads.
I would expect nothing less of you, to be honest with you. I mean, I would love to, and I really do hope that you go on and do well, in the European final. But if you lost, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. Do you know what I mean? So
I will, but you won't. That's it.
Yeah. Dan says he loves chicken wings. That's just the one name that he has for Kate. I'm sure there's a few others that he can't put out here. Look, let's have a look at some score predictions, and then we'll let you go, Jake.
Come on, bedtime soon.
You're off next week, so you haven't got any revising. Because how many exams are you doing?
No, I'm halfway through. I got my 9th out of the way today out of 18.
18.
Wow.
Yeah. I was looking to keep it into single figures, and they nearly showed my age there. Of course, calling them O levels nearly. They're not called that anymore, are they? No. But look, here, nobody's actually gone for a West Ham win, probably because we all know we need to win. Brad, you went 2-1.
No, I didn't. I went 2-0.
You did indeed. Craig, you went 3-1. Yep. And then the rest of us, great brains thinking alike, we all went 2-1. But we would take a 1-0 off Jamie Vardy's arse in the 97th minute, wouldn't we?
No,
as long as Bournemouth have done the business.
Yes, yeah.
The worst thing would be, wouldn't it, that Bournemouth do the business and we don't get the win. I mean, that'd just be unforgivable.
I've got a worse scenario.
Go on,
we go down with Forest staying up and Coventry come up.
Yeah.
Come on, Jake. I mean, you're not going to go against your team. I get that. What's your prediction?
I don't. Well, I always try and give sort of 2 predictions in games where I'm not entirely sure what the outlook will be. I can see it being quite a boring game where we'll try and sit back and try and defend. We won't be going out, trying to put 3 past you. That's for sure. We'll try and put in a sort of, as minimal effort as possible for sort of whoever plays and sort of hope for the best. I won't go against West Ham. I'll predict a win, and I will go 2-0, 2-1, 2-1.
2-1, but the other way. Because
Yeah.
if you go 2-1, that'll give it to Leicester.
Oh, all
the home
right.
team.
1-2 then.
No, we all heard it there. Everybody, Jake predicted a Leicester win. Jake, look, like I say, I hope you don't do it at the weekend. Of course I do. Oh, sorry, I was just reading messages there. But I wish you all the best in Europe and all the best for your exams as well, mate.
Thank you very
And
much, mate.
just give everybody a shout out as to where that they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me on YouTube at West Ham Unofficial for your West Ham content. If you're a Leicester fan, you can go and watch the vlog that we did for the game in November. That was pretty painful, and we'll be up at the King Power on Sunday as well. So yeah, I am looking forward to it. And if we lose and you stay up, I'll look back and go, oh well, that's all right. But if we lose and you go down, I ain't gonna be happy, Chris.
I ain't going to be come up and take the piss out of, haven't you? So, Right, look, seriously, as I say, don't wish you anything for the weekend. Good luck in the Champions final, and good luck with your exams. And I'm sure we will speak again in some form as well next season. All the best, mate. Take care.
FA Cup third round, all right?
See you there. Cheers,
Thank
mate.
you.
Thanks. Bye-bye. Thanks to Jake there. Oh, we went rather quickly. Right, let me just try and find it, because I know you've got to go in a second, Craig.
Yep.
So before I let you go, because you missed it last week, there we go. You know what's coming, don't you?
Yeah.
Home or
I do.
away. I wasn't going to let Brad do it for you because he might have got it right. And I've got to say that this is it is a little bit sort of why bother time, because you're a point and a half. Well, what are you? What's the score at the moment? It's 5 to myself, 3.5 to you. So even if you get it right, you can't win. But we'll just do it for a bit of fun and see if you can end on a high. A bit like Bournemouth and Spurs. Nothing to play for me. But let me give you a chance to see if you know who this is. So start out at Luton Town. Went to Arsenal, then went on loan to Forest, Palace and Reading before signing for Birmingham City. Went to West Ham from 2007 to 11, Stoke City, then on loan to Brighton before they signed him, then to Leicester, and then ended up at Milton Keynes Dons. I think I made it a little bit easy for you this week, Craig.
Have you? I'm rubbish at these. I'm rubbish at these, so
I
so
know,
probably not.
and that's why I enjoy them. Revenge is a dish that's best served cold, but extremely nice whenever it comes.
Any ideas there, Brad?
No.
I have one.
If you've got an idea, that's all.
I have one, but I can't remember him being a part of that particular Leicester side. But it's the only one now I can think of.
He was only there one season.
What a season! Luton Town.
If he gets it wrong, I'll have the guess afterwards before you reveal.
Oh yeah. No, that'd be fine. Yeah. Forest, Palace, and Reading on loan. Birmingham City. I can see him in his Birmingham City strip, to be honest with you. West Ham. He was there 4 seasons. Stoke City. Brighton on loan, signed for Brighton, joined us.
It's the only one I can think of. It's got to be him.
At Milton Keynes, where he ended his career. He also had a not a reasonably successful England career. I'll give you that much, playing at various levels. Very rude. I hope that was your Winston Churchill impression and not telling you where to go. Still picking the score.
Yeah, no, nothing's. So this is Great Escape, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
I will give you a clue with it. It's not Cambiasso.
I'm sure he went to MK Dons afterwards.
Well, he left us, didn't he?
Yeah. No, the last player I can remember us getting from Brighton was good old Leo, and it's not him because he didn't go to MK Dons. No, I'm not going to waste any more of anybody's time.
I tell you what, if I've got it, Craig gets 2 points just for a laugh.
No, he does not.
Just build the tension. You take it off him afterwards.
I'll give it a quarter.
Oh, okay. We'll get him up to a point. We'll make him agonisingly close. The only player I can think of that we got from Brighton and Hove Albion and played for the likes of West Ham and Birmingham, I don't remember him being at Stoke, is Matthew Upson.
Okay. Is that your final answer?
It's the only answer I can think of, but I don't think he was there.
Is that your only answer? Well, if you don't think he was there, then you don't think it's him.
I know we got him from Brighton, though. I know Matthew Upson came from us through playing for Brighton beforehand. It's the only other player, apart from obviously the one that Craig mentioned, that I can think of.
No, I like that, Brad. I like that, Brad.
I saw this. I thought with the Brighton link, Leo, Joe, I must admit.
Well done, mate. Well done. An excellent 2 points. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, you're welcome. No corruption here, mate. No corruption here.
No corruption. Just read that score there. What would it be now? 6-3.5. Yes. Craig, look, I know you got to go, mate, because the jungle cameras are calling you. But thank you very much, mate. And hey, look, clap those clappers hard at the weekend.
I mean, it's a long time since we've been in this position where we're not only cheering on for a win, but we're hoping for results from other places as well.
Yes.
And the first time in this stadium as well. So it's going to be a nerve-wracking afternoon, that's for sure.
Yeah, it did indeed. All the best, mate. And
right.
I'll send you a list of what we're doing next week.
Cheers, brilliant. Cheers, Brad. Cheers, Chris.
See you later, mate.
And thank you to the young man there, the wise old owl. Now, you very kindly picked a team earlier.
Yes, I did.
Let's just have a look what everybody... a few predictions that we'll just go back to. Sharky went 2-1 Leicester. Richard went 1-1. Won't be good enough, I'm afraid, will it, for us? And he says, thank you for my good wishes. Chris, when are Brad and Steve doing their quiz? Next Tuesday. Danny Simpson, no. Well, we know it's not now.
No, there was no Newcastle on there. Daniel, there was no Newcastle.
Matthew ... Sorry, they couldn't see what you were saying anyway, Sharky, but he went with Matthew Upson, obviously being a hammer. And Dan's gone, again, I'd take that, Dan. I'd take that.
Yeah, I'd take it.
Look, I had to write a piece, and I can't sort of go into how much. I mean, it's funny, I have not been this busy. I said, this weekend, I'm doing this show tonight. At 11:30, I'm doing a pre-record for Paul Ross at TalkSport. Tomorrow, we've got the prediction show. On Saturday, we're on Carl and Doug's channel. Then we're doing a relegation special ourselves. If anybody knows an Everton fan, by the way, they've all gone into hiding. Then on the Sunday, we start with a TalkSport interview at 12:30, followed by 3:30, the premiere, the watch along, Talk TV at 7, and then the refresh show at 9. It's going to be busy. They're not this busy since we won the damn thing, Brad.
I know, right? I mean, it's a shame we're not as popular for the same reason, but it's nice to be popular, I guess. Just hope it doesn't end in tears of sadness. Let's hope we've got something to go at.
Like I say, the BBC then contacted me today and said, we want another. Can you write another piece? We only need it by tomorrow, and thanks for the notice. About the relegation battle. And I've read a few things that's been put out, and we're going to come to your team in a second, but I just wanted to hit this point, is we've got to accept that we are Leicester City. and
We're
you know,
elite.
you beat me to it. But no, we are that proverbial roller coaster club, aren't we?
Yeah, we have been ever since I started supporting them when I was knee-high to a grasshopper in the 90s. I was, for memory's sake, I was an O'Neill era child that was raised on the O'Neill era, and even then we were an up and down side. I know we had the comical name of boring Leicester when they played O'Neill, but we we weren't exactly up and down to this drastic states, but we've always been that. And from what I can tell, every time we talk about Leicester and seasons gone by that I don't even remember, yourself, Dave, Craig, and anyone else in between, it seems like it's just been the Leicester way since 1884. I mean, I know you had your first season ticket back then, Chris, but it seems like it's always been the Leicester way, even when we were the Fosses, So I
Well,
wouldn't change us to the world sometimes.
there was the rumour that when we built the new stadium, of course, it was started off being called the Walker Stadium. At the start, they were going to call it Alton Towers Stadium because it was just, like I say, go there for a roller coaster ride. But like you said, of course.
You know what? I'm Premier League. I am elite. I am proper elite.
No.
I am Dorinda.
Oh yes, we've got to remember whatever happens, guys, we are elite.
Yeah. Tell you what, it's funny you say that though. Tongue in cheek, I was talking to one of my friends, Jessie. I've brought her up a few times on this channel,
Yeah.
and I said, and she said to me, "Oh, we're on." She's like, "Oh, I can't believe we're on Sky." I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Aren't Everton on there?" I said, "They might be on BT." She went, "No, they're not." I said, "Yeah, that's because Leicester are massive, Jess. We're massive. We're absolutely huge as a club. We're bigger than Everton. They're not important to be on Sky." So I had my own Corinda moment. She went, "No, we're not." I went, "No, but."
Of the 3 games, 2 are on Sky, 1 is on BT. All 3 games are being.
They have done that, then, have they?
They have,
She
yes,
couldn't
yes.
find it at the start, so I just wrote back to
Funny
her.
because
Massive.
they're covering the top of the league for some reason, Anthony.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't know why. Anthony, no, I've asked James. He's working, and there's a couple of one Everton fan. He just doesn't want to talk about it, and he was honest and upfront. But look, we asked Jake earlier about what team that he would put out. Of course, you very kindly sent your team that you would put out. And
I did.
here, there we go. So that's your team. Talk me through it, because you've gone 5. Well, you've gone 3-5-2 or 5-3-2, depending whether we're attacking or defending, which is what
Yeah.
you went with. Well, you went with it as well for the Newcastle, because you picked that one as well. But also, Dean Smith, of course, went with it against Newcastle.
Yeah, and I think we've got to find that balance. And I think what this lineup does is it gives you that balance to kind of not get caught out with a ball over the top or get caught back in numbers as we lose which we've been capable of doing, is just losing the ball in our own half, making a pass that's gone astray or whatever. At least we have more men behind the ball and we can regroup quicker in them numbers. And I was kind of I'm really sick of these, and I'm sick of it. I get it to a point, but I'm really sick of these people that were so negative about our formation against Newcastle, even after the result. Like, oh, we didn't go for it, we should have gone for it. It's like, how many more beatings do we need to take playing 4 at the back? I mean, we've lost 6-2. I think I looked at it through, and I can't believe I'm saying this because I think I looked back at over formations and looked at the stats, right? If I was to pick 3 games from when we played 4 at the back and tried to play attacking football, we lost 6-2, 5-2, and 5-3. That was Fulham, Tottenham, Brighton, all away from home, right? In games where we've either played defensive football or we've played 3 at the back, as obviously a defensive back 5, we lost 1-0 to Manchester City, we lost 1-0 to Manchester United, and we drew 0-0 with Newcastle. The aggregate score is 16-2. We conceded 16 goals in 3 games trying to play the Leicester way in attacking football, which we clearly haven't been able to this season. So anyone that looks at that and goes, "Oh no, we've got to win the game," just you don't understand you don't understand the I want to say it's not politics side of football. I can't think of the word I'm trying to think of, but it's like you don't understand the dynamics of football if you don't understand that you have to play the game respectively of your opposition and your situation. And the current situation is, if you look back at every other formation where we've got absolutely backhanded and slapped around the King Power or whatever stadium we've been at, it's been playing four at the back. It's been trying to play fast, aggressive football, quick passing football, and it ain't worked. We got smashed. Like I said, I'll just give you 3 examples of results compared to 3 other results. And I know people say, "Well, you didn't score in the other 3, Brad." Yeah, but we had to get points on the board. Now we know we've got to go for a win, and I'm sure I'll change it up. And that's why I stuck with what worked against Newcastle. Because there's no way on God's green earth that Dean Smith is going to say, "Okay, we're going to do another 87-minute job where we stay 0-0. He's going to get to 70, 75 minutes and go, "Okay, now we're still level. If we've not managed to nick a goal, we're going to go for it now." And then he'll change things up when it needs to. You have to respect an opposition you're playing for. And that's basically why I just went for the essentially 3-5. The 3-5-2.
Let's go through it, because you've got Iverson in goal. I think it goes without saying, although we are being told that we're after this Bayern Munich goalkeeper. Evans, you've said, but if Soyunchu's fit, Soyunchu comes back in. Sutar, for me, you can't drop him after Newcastle. And
No.
he's got that height at corners as well, and I think it's only time before he gets on the end of one of them. And Faze, it's the obvious back 3, isn't it? Now, I'm surprised at these next 2 because I would have gone Christensen and Ricardo, but is Ricardo still injured?
I'm not 100% sure if he is. I think he might be back in training, but I'm basing picking the team off their performance against Newcastle. And again, that balance is there because Castagne does get forward as long as we almost have that 4th defender holding back. Because we know, and I have defended this point 1,000,001 times, and I'm going to say it again now just in case anyone wants to argue it with me. I understand why people would go get Christensen there because he is the attacking wing back.
Yeah.
You've got to play the situation. And the situation we've found ourselves in all season is when we put committed attacking players on. This is why I've scrapped wing play, because it's also useless for us, it has been for years. But we cannot have 2 committing wing backs. We need a defensive-minded wing back in Thomas to allow Castagne on the right to join that midfield and get onto the byline and try and get some crosses into a congested box. Because if we get caught giving the ball away, Faze will have to go over to that right side. Evans and Sutar would have to go into the middle, and then that then allows Thomas, who won't push on into our own half that often. He might do it once or twice, but he's not going to do it like Christensen did. But he'll be in a position where he's actually closer to our half than Christensen would be, and he'll be able to retreat and come back and help clear up any mistakes made in that middle. And he did it superbly for the majority of the game against Newcastle. I can forgive him having a bit of a tired legs near the end, and he got beat once or twice, but that's what you need in this situation, because like Craig said, the worst thing that can happen is Leicester go gung-ho and we're 2-0 down after 12 minutes.
Yeah.
In a game we really need to win. And that for me was why, and to be fair, he was probably my second choice for man of the match against Newcastle, Castagne. So as much as I was all for Ricardo coming back in, if that Castagne is going to play, that's why he went on my team.
Okay. I want to agree with what you're going to say about the midfield here. Boris says, though, no one to put a free kick in the top left-hand corner of the net when we may need it. Now, he's obviously referring to Tielemans or Maddison, but when was the last time either of them actually managed to hit the target with a free kick?
As Meatloaf once said, mate, and I like quoting these sort of things. You took the words right out of my mouth. When's the last time Maddison scored a goal for us?
I was trying to work out how 2 out of 3 ain't bad came into that. I'm thinking, Conkin's not going to go for that one, surely. But
mate, I always go for the obvious ones, me.
No,
But
no,
yeah,
yeah.
when was the last time Tillman scored a goal for us?
Mm.
And when was the last time, apart from a penalty at Fulham, and bearing in mind, you know, his last one was saved by Pickford. Apart from that penalty against Fulham, when was the last time Maddison scored a goal for us?
Mm.
When was the last time they did anything in a game or for a majority of a game that affected us? Do you know what? Yeah, sure, we know on his day he can, but we don't need a maybe if but on his day sort of crap. What I need and what Leicester need is a free kick that's, maybe 30 yards out and it's nearer the byline. Do you know what I need? I need Castagne or I need one of them midfielders that I've seen take set pieces. I need them whipping it in. And do you know what I need from them? I need Sutar getting his head on it. I need Wout Faze getting the head on it. I need a fit and available Johnny Evans. Or if not, if Johnny Evans hasn't recovered, although the report suggests it was just cramp, which is why I put him in originally, I want him getting his head on it. I don't want some glory hogging hero syndrome trying to put it in the top corner and then he hits it straight to the wall. That's why they're not in my team.
Mm. Oh, excellent point. And I'm looking here. Barnes again. You've left Barnes, but you've gone for Dewsbury Hall, Mendy, now Samari. He is along with Christensen, the only one. And I do go, man. Always been booked again, but at least he's letting people know he's there. And we don't have many, or we don't have enough of those players, do we?
No, we don't. And Kieran Dewsbury Hall speaks for itself. If I'm not putting Tielemans in that team, he comes in. I will kind of back Craig up because Samari and Mendy kind of pick themselves to me. And Didi apparently is hamstring.
All the best, Terry. Thank you for popping in. I know
Yeah, see you later, mate.
He's on Jake's channel a lot. Good luck in the final, mate, and we'll speak soon. Sorry, Brad.
Yeah. No worries. It's always good to say goodbye to people that have tuned in. Thanks to anybody who has popped in. But yeah, Dewsbury Hall's a natural for me to replace Tielemans. If he's not making your squad, you're going to go Dewsbury Hall. I mean, there's some voodoo stat about how we've won when he played. I didn't go on that basis. I just went, if Tielemans isn't available, who's the first person I'm thinking of playing to do this role? It's Dewsbury Hall because A, Madders is further up the pitch, and B, I'm not going to. And look, Craig's going to be gushing if he watches this back. Listen to me say this: Harvey Barnes and Tete are completely wasted here, and I think Leicester maybe need to learn next season and use this as a learning curve. If we get away with it and survive, especially, we need to be done with playing with wingers. We need to be done with playing with wingers because the way the game's played now, and they're short passing it out the back from goalkeepers especially, right? You need to have a packed midfield to pounce on any mistake. We do not need to be light in numbers. And no offence, but since Mahrez, we haven't found a winger that's come close to Mahrez. Our best winger since Mahrez has left, we let slip through our fingers by not signing in the summer, in my opinion, and Lootman. And he still wasn't laying a glove on Mahrez, let's be honest with you. So for me, as good as Barnes can be on his day with assists and goals, and he has done well, consistent numbers, you got to give him, he's absolutely wasted because we rely too much on that side of the field. And how many times this season have I said to you, we're obvious when Barnes plays because we have to go down the left because the guy on the right is shit. So that's why I went for a middle. And I think we need to compress and suffocate West Ham. It worked to a degree in a weird sense against Newcastle, and in a game where I think we're going to be a bit more brave and adventurous, I think it will work against West Ham. Which is why, whether people agree with me or not, I don't want a if he turns up player on the pitch. I want a I've seen enough to know that they'll put their bodies on the line for us, and you get that with Mendy. Because he can play that anchor role that Ndidi has been playing recently. And that allows Samare, who, like you said, Chris, something we've really lacked this season, goes around, uses his big biceps and knock people out of the way and knock them off the ball and really give that grit between the teeth sort of thing that Leicester's missing in the dressing room.
And then two up
and
front.
On the pitch.
Yeah, two up front, of course. We've got to end with that, haven't we? And it worked well. Worked as well as it could do against Newcastle. But I mean, we're talking to the converted with us two and two up top, aren't we?
Yeah, I mean, it's almost, it still will be up there with one of the biggest mysteries in Leicester City history is how a side and a certain Pelland can have a season where he's literally hand gifted two strikers who Vardy's your overall top goal scorer throughout all competitions, but Ian Acho outscored him in the league. Got your double figures in goals, were assisting each other, they were reading each other like telepathy, they were that connected. And never play as a pair again, or very sparsely. It baffles me. Yeah. And it's almost like Dean Smith saw it and went, "Oh, maybe I need to get both my good strikers on the pitch."
Well, let's just hope that I might even be able to play this, but I'm going to do it now just for the hell of it. I need to change that so it doesn't say goals, so I can play it at any point, can't I? Can I just totally sidetrack? Because you know me, I do sidetrack. And just while you were talking there, I was just checking my Twitter. And has Twitter gone down since Elon Musk took it over? Because I set it up there, people could message me even if they weren't following me. And in the last day, I've had 10 messages from single Japanese or Chinese ladies, which you can sure, if I tell you the way that is going, I'm sure you know what I mean. And I've just had somebody follow me and they thought, oh, she's called Tammy. Very nice young lady. Doesn't like to wear a lot of clothes. And especially on her pictures. And I thought, I'm going to report this because it's obviously nudity and what have you. But apparently, and I'm quoting off Twitter now, we allow adult content like full or partial nudity or sexual acts on Twitter as long as it doesn't break our sensitive media policy.
Did they not realise the irony in that statement? They're allowing you to show your sensitive parts, but it doesn't break the sensitive community standards. Showing your delicate, yeah. Do you know, Chris? That is nearly as dumb as one of the tweets I saw when, and this isn't a bash at this, but this was a real dumb tweet that I saw ages ago. It was from the Flat Earthers Twitter page, and they said Flat Earthers supporters are growing around the globe, and someone just retweeted it to them back and went, just maybe read what you've just put. No. You're a flat earth society, you've just, but that's special. So basically, getting out my old sensitive willy on Twitter is fine, but as long as it doesn't break the sensitive rules.
Believe you me, she didn't have a willy.
Well, yeah, well, you never know these days, mate.
Well, I'm not getting into that. I'll get myself in trouble. But yes, I had to read that out to you to make sure that it wasn't just me that was thinking. That does contradict itself. It really does.
So don't be offensive. But if you want to, do some sexual favours and put them on Twitter, go for. So what's that? What backward? That's some arse over backwards rule. I tell you that.
Yeah. Martin, good evening. Martin says, win on Sunday 2-0 with the team you put up. And then Brad gets the job next season. I'd love to switch between Barnes and Tete. I've said that a few times, Boris. And like I say, I think Barnes does need to change his position. And they can both play either side. And Sharky said around the globe. But tell you what, don't know about flat earthers, but Tammy had a couple of nice globes. I can't argue with that. But she's blocked. She is blocked. Honestly, Elon Musk, get a grip. That's wrong, probably, isn't it?
No, he might be getting a grip with the content he's allowing.
Well, exactly. Look, Brad, what's it going to be like? The last couple of questions. What's it going to be like if we go a goal down? Is it going to get a bit toxic? Do you think?
I don't know, because it's not like there's anything the fans can really do. I think they'll just we'll kind of it'd be weird if we go a goal down. It depends when, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Because if you go 1-0 down and it's the 88th minute, it'll be oh, well, it'd be like that feeling when we played Stoke on that final day of the season, and when we went down to League One, and I think it'll be a bit deflated. But if it goes the first 5 minutes, there'll obviously be that nervous reaction. I think then fans will just be a bit more relaxed in a weird way. Because well, there we go. We expected us to lose and go down, or not win this game and go down. So let's just enjoy ourselves.
Yeah. I've got to say, Russ is a Leeds fan, so I understand totally what he's saying there. Fair play to you, Russ. Let's be honest. Let's face it. If this was any other season than this season, which has got to be weirder than even probably the COVID seasons, because at least in the COVID seasons, results were going kind of the way you would expect them to. We would have been down weeks ago, wouldn't we, in a normal season?
Yeah, there isn't too many seasons that I can think of where a team, and what would we get, Chris? We get 34 points, which is ironic because I'd be a genius, because I've been saying for many a week I can't. Even when we weren't seemingly in trouble, I said 34 points might be enough to keep someone up this season. And how ironic could that be? But it would be one of the very few occasions where 34 points has ever kept a side up, especially in the days when there was 22 teams in the league. So
I'm going to come to your question in a second, Sharky, but look. So we're playing Everton. We are playing West Ham. Everton are playing Bournemouth. Leeds are playing Spurs. Would you swap our game with either of the other twos? We're all at home.
No,
so that stays.
No, I wouldn't for two reasons. It still haunts me playing Spurs at the last game of the season. Because we always seem to choke it when we play someone like Spurs. And I just don't. I think, let's see this, especially this season, Chris, I'd rather have that middle team. It's not too difficult playing Spurs, and as much as we've joked about Spurs this season, we know how horrible we've had it against Spurs playing them. We all remember that game where we needed to beat them to get Champions League football, and Gareth Bale actually came off the golf course and turned up. And I'd rather not have Bournemouth, because I think that's where the pressure is. And this is the question I'll ask to any Leicester fan that says, you know him very well, and I didn't say anything directly to any other YouTubers. I won't mention names, but there's a few Leicester YouTubers that have been really, oh my God, my nose will not stop itching. I do apologise, Chris. Give me a second. Oh, that's really annoying. That's still really pessimistic, saying,
"Oh, knows how you feel."
Oh, anyway, moving on swiftly. Says moving on. Yeah, I'm going to keep my nose clean for this part, but I don't understand I do, because of how bad we've been this season. But I don't understand the pessimism of people saying, "Oh well, we've left it too late. We needed to have it in our hands." They've not been watching Leicester this season. Leicester have crumbled at any time the expectation's been on them. Let's go back 3 games before, and I'm talking Everton, Leeds, Fulham. There are 3 games we played out of the 4 on Monday night, right? Oh, if we beat Everton, that'll put us clear. We won't go down there, and that'll ruin them. We drew. Oh, it's okay though, because results weren't too bad on the weekend. So if we beat Leeds, we'll go 3 points clear. We'll get out of the relegation zone. We drew. Oh, Nottingham Forest and Everton got some points. We definitely can't lose to Fulham. We have to win. But if we still win, we'll get out of the relegation zone and goal difference. We lost. No, well, that's us down. We're going to get smashed. And I was one of them. You know, one of them in the statement, oh, we're going to get smashed 5-0 by Newcastle. We're going to lose 3-0 to Newcastle. We're going to get smashed 6-2 by Newcastle. Newcastle's going to smash 7-1. Nobody gave us a hope. And I know Craig, right, fair play to him, he got a point in the predictions league because he was the only one that probably backed us to draw. Maybe more out of desperation and hope than realism. But guess what? We drew. We got something from that game. And I think, personally, Leicester wouldn't want, but I don't think we need the pressure. So I wouldn't want to play Bournemouth because the expectation would be on Leicester to beat Bournemouth at home. It's not a guarantee to happen against West Ham. You've got a feeling with how their season's gone that you'd be like, there's a better chance than Tottenham, but probably, there's more expectancy if we're playing Bournemouth. And I think that is maybe what will set the nerves off at Everton if they're not winning that game after 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 45, 50, 60 minutes. You know what I mean? So I'm actually surprisingly happy with who we've got out of the three. Yeah.
That's fair enough. Sharky says here, and we'll end on this point. Who do you think will win the Championship playoff final?
That's a good question. Because people say, oh, Coventry, they've got the experience. But they've not. It's not like they've been in the playoffs 3-4 seasons in a row and cracking the code sort of thing all of a sudden. And you have to ask yourself which one of them technically has the better momentum. And there's just something about Luton. I know they've taken similar paths from League Two and all that to where they are now, but I think you've just got to give the edge to Luton because they will feel they've got nothing to lose and everything to gain, whereas Coventry, being the experienced Championship side, are expectant. And again, if Coventry handle that well, they'll win the game. They'll win the game with ease. But
the interesting thing will be if Coventry win, where will they play their home games next season?
You know what? With that arsehole, Mike Ashley, they could be forced to play on a park or the AstroTurf just down the road.
Does he own them?
Yeah, he tried to evict them. It's his company that owns them. They nearly got evicted from the stadium this season.
Yeah, I didn't know he owned the Coventry though.
No, but that's what I mean. He could decide to evict them from their stadium, and they might have to go and play on the five-a-side AstroTurf that's just up the road from the King Power.
I mean, I see. Oh, Mike Ashley's company owns the arena.
Yeah.
Ashley beat Coventry Stadium, but
it's a complicated situation there.
Yeah, he did evict them. So I issued them an eviction note. I mean, again, we've been there. We know what it's like. I wouldn't wish it on anybody, to be honest with you. And I see Coventry as I see Coventry as more of a local rival than Nottingham and Derby, simply because they're nearer to us. So
all I'm saying is, mate, when your local derby gets announced on Sky or BT as the M69 derby, when it's a motorway derby, it's a massive derby. So there we are. Yeah, the M69 derby. Yeah. But you know what? Yeah, if we stay up, Coventry can come up for another easy 6 points next season. I was about to
say the same thing. That if we stay up, it would be nice to have 3 East Midlands teams back up there. And of course, they stayed in the Premier League longer than we ever did. So fair play to them.
Very true.
Right, look, mate. Thank you so very, very much. I will see you tomorrow at 8:00.
Yeah.
For the Prediction League, and we will see you most of next week and the weekend as well.
Yeah. I mean, you're not going to charge me rent when I move into your place, mate, because you're not paying me for the job I'm doing, and I won't be able to afford it.
Yeah, I couldn't afford you, mate. I couldn't afford you, but and I can't. I know with where you'd be sleeping, you wouldn't want to pay me anyway. But thanks very much, mate, and I'll see you for the first time in about 14 next tomorrow at 8:00.
I'll see you tomorrow at 8:00. See you later, guys.
Take care. Bye bye. Thanks to Brad there at Full-Time Focus. Be sure to get over and follow him on Twitter. And there's news about his channel will be coming out on Sunday. But there's a lot coming up over the next few what can I say? Few days.
Coming up next on Leicester Till I Die TV.
Prediction show, like we say, at 8 o'clock tomorrow. Saturday morning, 10:15 on the Horn and Levy YouTube channel, followed by a relegation special on here with hopefully, we're definitely a Leeds and Leicester fan. We're still trying to get hold of an Everton fan. On Saturday, 12:45, hear me on Talk Sport. And then some point tonight, tomorrow morning, I think it's about 1 o'clock, I will be on TalkSport with Paul Ross. But TalkSport at 1:45 in the afternoon on the Saturday before the final game. That's on the warm-up show. Of course, 3:30, we'll be doing the live watch-along. And hopefully we're going to be able to have a link up with somebody in the stadium. At 7 o'clock, I'll be on Talk TV on the Mark Saggers weekend show. The relaunch show at 9. And that's just the next few days, next week. When aren't we on? Thanks so very, very much to everybody. There's a couple of people just popped in at the end. Cyber Leader, nice welcome along, mate. How are you? Don't tell me Shark is called Christopher. Please don't tell me Shark is called Christopher. With a name like that, you've got to love the guy. Yes, it could be, Boris. It could be. Look, thanks to everybody that's been on tonight. Thank you to Jake from West Ham Unofficial. Get sure to over there. Good luck to him with his exams, and good luck to West Ham, as I've said, in the conference final. Thanks to Brad. Thanks to Craig for joining as well. Thanks to everybody that's been in the chat. Really do appreciate it. We're on a lot. Surprising that this relegation battle is getting such coverage, isn't it? But no, thank you all very much to everybody that was in the chat. Too many to mention. If you've been listening on podcast, whether that's on YouTube or Spotify, Apple, iTunes, Google Podcasts, the other, then thank you for lending me your ears. Don't forget to subscribe, click that notification bell. We've got so many shows coming up. You don't want to miss one. If you click that notification bell and subscribe, you will never miss one. For just $1.99, as it says going across the bottom there, for $1.99 you can become a member. Click on the link in the description. It tells you exactly what you get. And next season we'll be doing one show, hopefully one show a week, just for members only, if we can get enough. So I will see you tomorrow. And thank you to our current members, Sharky included there, Marcus Sports, Judy Bowers, Nate, Dugout Football Channel, Kate, Matthew Burke, David Smith, LCFC, Grey Forever a Fox. Thank you so very much. This has been LTID TV. I have been Chris. I will return, as indeed will this guy. Good night.
Thanks for watching. These videos are tremendous. You better like them too, or I'll be back.
This podcast is proud to be part of the TalkSport Fan Network. TalkSport. Powered by fans.
That will conclude this evening's entertainment.